Retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, Rear Admiral Gregory Todd, United States Navy, will now offer our invocation.
Good morning. Let us pray. Eternal Father, in your graciousness, you have given us the great honor and privilege of serving as part of the United States Sea Services. This includes the blessing of serving alongside shipmates we respect and value and national leaders who share our commitment to serve. Lord, as you have told us to love our neighbor, and sometimes that is to do acts of charity, may you give us vision to see the opportunities for charity all around us, particularly allow us to see the shipmate in despair and the strength to pull them back into the team. At other times, Lord, to love our neighbor means to take up the sword, to defend our neighbor against the evil that would seek to do them harm. Grant us the wisdom to wield the sword with justice and restraint, always mindful that we are under your gaze. Not by our merits, but because of your goodness, Lord, we are bold to ask for your presence with us. Bless our food, our time together, the camaraderie we share, and the mission you have called us to. Teach us to value one another as gifts from your almighty hand. And finally, dear Lord, our hearts are with our shipmates who are on duty, underway, or standing the watch. Send your holy angels to protect them in their tasks and grant them a joyful reunion with their faithful loved ones who wait for them. It's into your hands we commend our prayers, trusting always in your love and mercy. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the CEO of the Navy League of the United States and 13th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Mike Stevens.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you here this morning. I guess this teleprompter's not for me. Let's just go ahead and look at it. Well, good morning. As we embark on the final day of Sea Air Space 2025, I wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude to all who have contributed to making this event truly exceptional. First and foremost, to our sponsors and exhibitors, your unwavering support and commitment have been instrumental in bringing this expo to life, showcasing the latest advancements and fostering meaningful collaborations within the maritime community. This breakfast today is sponsored by Saildrone and Vigor Marine Group. Let's give Saildrone and Saildrone a round of applause. Thank you very much for that. To all of our attendees, your active participation and engagement have enriched our discussions and strengthened our shared mission. Your presence here underscores the importance of our collective efforts in advancing maritime interest. A special thank you to the incredible Navy League staff. Your dedication and hard work behind the scenes have ensured that this year's SAS Expo stand out as one of the best ever. Your professionalism and attention to detail have not gone unnoticed, and we are all deeply appreciative. A round of applause for our Navy League staff. Looking ahead, I want to highlight the remarkable opportunity at today's luncheon. Later today, we are honored to host world-renowned leadership expert and best-selling author, John C. Maxwell. With over 40 years of experience inspiring leaders across various sectors, John's insights into leadership are unparalleled. His book, including the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, have sold millions of copies worldwide, cementing his status as a leading authority on leadership. If you haven't registered for this event yet, it's still not too late. Don't miss out what promises to be an amazing and enlightening experience. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our National President and Chairman, Mr. Chris Towney Townsend, who will have the honor of introducing our esteemed Secretary of the Navy.
Good morning. Day 3. Anybody else's feet hurt? It's been a great Sea Airspace so far. Good morning, esteemed guests, colleagues, and friends. As we gather on this final day of the Sea Airspace Exposition, I'm filled with immense pride and gratitude for what we have accomplished together. This exposition has not only showcased the latest advancements in maritime technology, but has also reinforced the strength of our community and our shared commitment to maritime excellence. I want to echo Mike's heartfelt thanks to our sponsors, exhibitors, attendees, and the dedicated Navy League staff. Your contributions have been invaluable in making this event a resounding success. Looking ahead, I encourage everyone to seize the opportunities that today offers, engage with the exhibits, participate in the discussions, and continue to build the relationships that are the bedrock of our maritime community. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker, our 79th Secretary of the Navy, John C. Phelan. Secretary Phelan was sworn in as the 79th Secretary of the Navy on March 25th, 2025. He is the founder and chairman of the Rugger Management LLC, a private investment firm based in Palm Beach, Florida. Previously, he was co-founder and co-managing partner of MSD Capital and now serves as chairman emeritus. He holds an MBA from Harvard Business School and a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics and Political Science from Southern Methodist University. He also earned a general course degree in Economics and International Relations from the London School of Economics. Secretary Phelan has chaired the boards of the Third Option Foundation, Spirit of America, and the Aspen Art Museum. He is a member of Business Executives for National Security and serves on the Board of Deans of Advisors at Harvard Business School, the Investment Committee for the SMU Endowment, and the North American Advisory Board for the London School of Economics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Secretary of the Navy, John C. Phelan.
Wow, big audience. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to stand before you today as the 79th Secretary of the Navy. Serving in this role for President Trump and our nation is the honor of a lifetime. The President understands the critical importance of reviving the maritime industrial base, and we both know that a strong Navy and Marine Corps means a strong America. I come from a business background, so some of you might be wondering, how did I end up here? Well, I tend to like very complex problems, and now on the 14th day of the job, I can tell you I may have underestimated just how complex this one would be. As everyone in the room knows, leading the Department of the Navy is anything but easy, but I didn't come here for easy. I came here to solve problems. As the former Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Zumwalt, once stated, I don't give a damn where an idea comes from. All I care about is whether it works or not. That's the approach I'm bringing to this office. I've spent my entire life leading and building teams, studying and investing in businesses, tackling tough problems, and turning challenges into opportunities. In my old business, a 16th of a penny is meaningful, and acting in a timely manner with incomplete information is the difference between success or failure. You get a scorecard every day, and at the end of the year, you get your annual performance report, and you either get to celebrate victory or defeat. Victory means growing and flourishing, Defeat means downsizing and personnel change. That kind of continual performance pressure teaches you how to be decisive, stay calm through the chaos, and lead through uncertainty. And this is why the mission of the Navy and the Marine Corps resonates with me. I understand what every great warrior knows. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. It takes hard work. Throughout my career, I've learned that success isn't handed to you, it's earned. As the winningest sports team in history, the New Zealand All Black rugby teams say, their motto is champions do extra. That same ethos defines our Navy and Marine Corps. For decades, we've enjoyed the benefit of being the world's preeminent naval power. The good news is the Department of the Navy has good options and great assets. However, we're at a point where it needs a greater sense of urgency to address its problems. Our success and rigid adherence to the old way of doing things have led to complacency, bureaucracy, and in some cases, suboptimal policy. This has slowed us down, and this puts our sailors and Marines at risk, and that is not right. While we've been mired in bureaucratic inertia, budgetary gridlock in Congress, and chronic shortfalls in shipbuilding investment, our adversaries have been building and getting better. China constructed more ships last year alone than we have since World War II. China is not interested in being number two. They are attempting to dominate the seas and beyond that, the global order. Our competitors are not waiting for us to get our act together. They see weakness and they will try to exploit it. That ends now. Here's the truth. America is not weak. Together with your support, our Navy and Marine Corps will remain the most formidable, adaptable, and ready global force the world has seen. Our mission is clear: to protect the United States, safeguard our allies, and ensure peace through strength. As the Constitution states, we must raise and support armies when needed, but we must provide and maintain a Navy at all times. Why do you think the Founding Fathers mandated this? Because as they know, building a Navy takes time, and those who control the sea lead the world order. My number one priority as SECNAV is readiness. I wake up every day focused on our readiness, our ability to fight, and our modernization strategy going forward. To ensure we remain at our peak readiness, I will focus on these three areas. First, strengthening shipbuilding and the maritime industrial base. Second, fostering adaptive, accountable, and warfighting culture. And third, the health, welfare, and training of our people, our sailors, Marines, and their families. In the coming weeks, I will review our acquisition systems and identify how we can streamline and reform them. I will work across the department, and especially with industry, to find solutions. We will restore and maintain operational readiness and fiscal responsibility. In order to do so, I will rely on the experience and insight of the people around me. I am not interested in echo chambers. I want honest perspectives and real results. General Patton once said, if everyone is thinking alike, then someone isn't thinking. As the Secretary of Navy, I intend to keep this mindset front and center. Today, we are at a critical juncture in our naval strategy. The U.S. Navy and Marine Corps have long been the cornerstone of global security, but rising costs, shifting requirements, and years of underinvestment in shipbuilding have left us vulnerable. Underinvestment in workforce and manufacturing capacity, gold-plated requirements, and bureaucratic decision-making have all led to huge cost overruns, extremely late deliveries, and delayed maintenance. And this is unacceptable. Fixing this requires a whole of government and industry approach and public-private partnerships where 1 + 1 = 3. We will be moving to a philosophy of more shared risk with the industry. The gap between our naval requirements and the capacity of our fleet to meet them is growing. Every missed milestone in shipbuilding and maintenance is a risk to our national security. The need to rebuild and modernize our fleet is now more urgent than ever, and has become, in my mind, a national emergency. President Trump has expressed strong support for expanding and revitalizing our naval shipbuilding, and he has stated to me many times, shipbuilding, shipbuilding, shipbuilding. Get those ships out of the maintenance yards and fix the damn rust. He does not like it, and I don't like getting calls in the middle of the night. His mandate is to enhance the Navy's strength and ensure America's dominance at sea. We must ensure that every decision we make regarding ship construction, maintenance, and upgrades is one that keeps us ahead of our adversaries. A winning team doesn't just throw money at problems. It fixes execution, demands accountability, and adapts to changing conditions. We must do the same. We will set realistic, achievable schedules, and we will commit to them. We will eliminate the waste and inefficiencies that drain resources without delivering results. We will demand accountability from our shipbuilding enterprise because every dollar, every day, and every decision counts. To avoid repeating mistakes of poorly executed programs, we will work closely with the shipbuilding industry to calculate risk more effectively and ensure that every dollar spent on defense leads to tangible, measurable results. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. This requires us to reassess how we evaluate and manage risk at every stage of the shipbuilding process, from design to delivery. The Department of the Navy cannot tackle these challenges alone. Collaboration with industry is essential to drive the improvements we need. I look forward to building a new and more open relationship with our maritime industry. Together, we will build more than ships. We will build trust, transparency, and mutual understanding. The Department of the Navy will work alongside the industrial base to develop and implement better KPIs, more robust risk analysis, which will allow us to identify and mitigate roadblocks or bottlenecks quicker. By building collaborative relationships, we can set more realistic schedules, develop better forecasting tools, and ensure that resources are allocated more efficiently. Our goal is to accelerate the shipbuilding process without compromising quality or capability. With a concerted team effort between the Department of the Navy and industry, we can streamline construction timelines, improve workforce readiness, and maintain the operational superiority of our fleet. This effort will require hard work, discipline, and accountability across the entire shipbuilding enterprise. Ultimately, this is about our national security and, candidly, our way of life. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, freedom is not free, and neither is a great Navy. My goal is to build a more agile, efficient, and forward-thinking Department of the Navy that can defend the nation well into the next century. My second priority is to bring back the warrior ethos by fostering an adaptive and accountable culture focused on warfighting. I understand the Navy has its own ways of doing things, steeped in tradition and often inflexible. Those ways, even when they are dysfunctional, must be confronted daily and relentlessly in order to change them. They have to be challenged by senior leadership, or the inertia of the organization becomes unmovable, and we will stagnate and fail. A strong military starts with world-class people with a clear sense of purpose and mission, and we have that. When our people are driven by mission, the organization thrives. In my experience, it's about building workplaces where great work happens, a culture that values people over processes, quality is preferred over quantity, and results over effort. When we embrace this, everyone wins. For generations, our warfighters have been the embodiment of resilience, adaptability, and raw determination. However, our success has bred complacency in some areas. As one surface warfare commander bluntly stated in a 2021 Navy report, the Navy treats warfighting readiness as a compliance issue. You might even use the term compliance-centered warfare. Sailors in the same survey described a careerist culture with a zero-defect mindset. We cannot let this environment take hold. Reforming entrenched organizations is never easy. Change is not easy. But in warfare, failure to adapt is fatal. We must relentlessly improve how we train, fight, and lead. We must challenge ourselves individually and as a force to push beyond what's comfortable and familiar. Growth comes from questioning the status quo, from being willing to look critically at how we operate and asking if there's a better, more efficient, or more effective way to achieve our objectives. This mindset is essential for our continued dominance on the world stage. I've seen firsthand how organizations can atrophy if they fail to adapt or innovate. I've also seen what happens when successful businesses become risk-averse or get into what I call the, put it in a nice way, the don't mess it up mindset. When institutions become too rigid or too set in their ways, they lose the ability to respond, adapt, and succeed. I've seen in many organizations when someone brings up a different way of doing things, many times a better way, the response has been, well, that's not how we do it. This is a fatal attitude to high-performing organizations. The important point about that is that phrases like, this is how we've always done it, can be dual-edged swords. There's great value in stability, tradition, order, and a consistent way of doing things that we must respect and appreciate. But when it stifles adaptability, innovation, collaboration, and trust, saying these phrases can erode a team's ability to win in a dynamic and challenging environment. And I can think of no environment more dynamic and challenging than combat or warfare. My goal is to streamline decision-making by trusting our people, by giving our leaders the ability to act, to take intelligent and calculated risks, and to keep us moving forward. Because the warrior ethos is not just about fighting, as Secretary Hegseth has stated, it's about learning, adapting, and leading the charge in new and uncharted territories. My third area of focus is the health, welfare, and training of our people. People and their families are the foundation of our Navy and Marine Corps team. Every mission we execute, every challenge we face, and every victory we achieve begins with the strength and resilience of our people. If we are to remain the most capable fighting force in the world, we must take care of those who serve and also those who support them. That includes our shipbuilders. Last week, I toured the shipbuilding facilities in Quonset Point and Groton. The men and women whose hands are shaping our fleet. I sat down with a number of shipyard trade workers, and I was moved by their enthusiasm, expertise, and their desire to improve and get better. Their dedication to the mission was really impressive. And I said to them, you aren't just building ships, you're contributing to our national security. And the President and I thank you for that. In my view, investing in people is as critical to our success as any weapon system or warfighting strategy. We are facing a serious shortage in our shipbuilding workforce, which is stressing our deployment schedules, exacerbating the strain on our current forces, therefore leading to extended deployments, overstretched crews, and increased burnout. These challenges are not hypothetical. They affect the lives of our sailors and Marines and their families who feel the weight of these pressures every day. The Department of the Navy, working closely with industry, must offer a clear vision for the future of our shipbuilding workforce, one that includes career growth, competitive compensation, and a strong sense of purpose. This means setting a clear focus on training, retaining, and upskilling our workforce. More mentoring and on-the-job training are essential to building the skills we need, and we must start early. In my opinion, we spent the last decade teaching people how to code. In the next decade, we will be teaching people how to use their hands. This will become a critical and necessary workforce skill. We will work with local communities and those in the education space to introduce students to high-skilled trades like welding, fabrication, and engineering, ensuring that the next generation is prepared for long-term success. At the end of the day, all of this is about readiness. Every person we recruit, train, and retain is an investment in our future, and our future depends on the strength, skills, and spirits of the American people who choose to serve our nation. In closing, I intend to bring a huge focus to the Department of the Navy's procurement and acquisition strategy. I'll use the word relentless again. I will ensure we will receive the appropriate risk-adjusted rate of return on our investments. In many ways, warfare is like a business. Our military must operate at optimal efficiency, maximizing its resources to ensure that every American tax dollar spent delivers results that strengthen our defense. The Navy and Marine Corps are filled with exceptional talent. As I see it, my role is to harness that talent by challenging the status quo and implementing decisions that ensure our military remains the most powerful and lethal fighting force in the world. Change is coming, and my responsibility is to make sure that we have the right people in the right seats on the right platforms. There'll be a new level of accountability and performance based on merit. I welcome those who welcome change and are prepared to do extra. To our service members, congressional and industry leaders, thank you for your service, your insights, and your unwavering support of our mission. Together, we will ensure that the Department of the Navy remains the most formidable maritime force the world has ever known for the next 250 years and beyond. Thank you. It's now time for me to get to work. Appreciate your time. I have questions, I think. Sorry about that. I was going to try to sneak out, but.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. You come from the world of business, so does that mean you'll bring a more industry-friendly approach to this office?
Yes, I think that, look, these are partnerships, and it's very critical that we have a good working relationship that's fair. I talked a little bit about philosophy of shared risk. Look, we demand a lot from the shipbuilding industry and from the private sector, and the private sector gets things in return. And I think that we've got to determine what is fair and what is right. And if we're being too demanding and too exacting, then they should be compensated for the risk we're asking them to take. At the same time, we need to make sure that we're being adequately compensated for the risks we're taking, and we're getting what we ask for. So I think there's got to be an equal balance, a more fair partnership approach with the shipbuilding industry. As I said before, this is critical, and we have underinvested in our shipbuilding for way too long. Being in Groton and Quonset Point, it's a pretty impressive place. And when you see the complexity of manufacturing a submarine, it's pretty incredible, to be honest. And so I have a lot of respect for what we've designed and engineered, and the people who are helping us build it, and the workers who are helping us do it. So I would like to think that we could have, as I mentioned earlier in my speech, a 1 + 1 = 3 type of relationship with private industry.
You've highlighted the importance of revitalizing shipbuilding and growing the maritime industry. How do you plan to revitalize the U.S. industrial base to support this priority?
So I would say to answer that question, stay tuned. I am on day 14. I intend to meet with all of our major contractors and ones that would like to become contractors. I think we have to really kind of ensure that we have a really strong base, but we also have competition in the base. And I think we need to improve that, and that's by expediting some of our processes and making it easier. But I still, that was my first shipyard. I will be heading to most of them within the next month, I am hoping, or 6 weeks. So between trying to spend time in the office and not being gone too much, I will definitely be. Virginia's an easy one. I need to get to Mississippi. I need to get to Philadelphia. I need to get to all the public and private shipyards. And candidly, I think we need to look at potentially opening up other shipyards and finding places where we can do that. This is a big priority for the president, and he is extremely focused on it, and I certainly don't want to disappoint him. If I do, you'll probably have another SECNAV here in a year or two. So I am very focused on this, and I look forward to hearing ideas. We should be receptive and open. In my old business, I said there are no bad ideas. Every idea is a good idea. Throw it at us, and let's put it up on the whiteboard and try to figure out if it makes sense or doesn't make sense, and try to come to some optimal answers that work for us and work for our partners in private industry.
Mr. Secretary, how do you plan to address the Navy's ongoing shipbuilding delays and cost overruns?
You can ask the admirals all that. Look, it is a big problem. I think that these are solvable problems. We have a really great staff and great group of people in the Navy. Trust me, they are studying it. They're aware of it. We need to kind of, as I said in my speech, outline some real concrete steps. Again, it's very early. I'm trying to understand all the problems. I'm trying to find the easy fixes and then understand the long ones. I think at the end of the day, there will be interim plans that we have to have as we transition to more modernization. I think there are a number of questions that we need to get answered. I think understanding our strategy first and then developing what the force posture looks like from that strategy, and then understanding what that then will cost is what we have to do. And so we will reverse engineer from that. I think, my experience in building businesses is that when you're growing or you have problems, there's a tendency to be very reactive to things, and you want to just hire people to fix things or throw money at it. That does not work. At the end of the day, what we used to always do in my old business, we'd say, okay, where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? What do we think is going to happen out there? And then we'd work backwards from there to get there. And that's what I intend to do here. Where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? And then what do we need to get there, both dollar-wise, talent-wise, partnership-wise? And so we are still in the early stages of developing that vision and those ideas. Look, I will spend time both with the admirals and the combatant commanders to really understand in real time what it is they need and what they think we need and what it is we want to be able to accomplish. And then we will try to implement that as fast as we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last question for Secretary Phelan this morning. What immediate steps are you taking to reform the Navy's acquisition processes?
So we are currently in the early stages of reviewing all of our contracts and also understanding how the decision process works, from start to finish. I'm still trying to understand why things take as long as they do. I'm trying to understand why they cost as much as they do. I see numbers on things that are eye-opening to me. I will not go into a specific place, but when I see a barracks that costs $2.5 million a key, and my old firm, we built the finest hotel in Hawaii, top rated for $800,000 a key, and that has some pretty nice marble and some pretty nice things in it. I am trying to understand how we can get to those numbers. I've got pretty good familiarity in the construction and the real estate business, so I have a pretty good idea of what things cost and why they should cost and what they should cost. And so we will be reviewing those things and trying to understand that better. We will try to leverage our buying power a little bit better with people. But I think this is a process issue. I think we add too many requirements, and I think, quite honestly, the Navy is not culpable and alone in this. I think Congress sometimes piles on things and adds things that they want. We are going to try to build the force the Navy wants, and I will advocate very hard for that. And I will push back very hard on add-ons when the Navy does not want it. And that has happened to us in some different programs. And you know, I think one of the major problems we have is we have too many customers. And there's only one customer, and that's the Navy and the Marine Corps. And they should be determining what they need and how they need it, and then we should implement. And so I think that process, as I said, this is a whole of government fix. This is not just with the Navy. We have to really work across a lot of different constituencies, and that's basically why I think I'm getting 5 hours of sleep a night, because I've got to manage all these constituencies. So, but it's important, and I think we have to really change the way that we buy things, change the way we make decisions. We have to be quicker. I think, you know, you look at recent conflicts, and I can't find one person who predicted in one of the conflicts that it would take, the results would be what they've been. So there was real adaptability, real change, things going on that I don't think anyone would have predicted. And we need to be in front of that, and we need to learn how do we become like that. Because adapting quickly is really important. You know, I've reread Freedom's Forge. I read it actually in business school. We had a case on it. And I reread that book, and it's incredible what we were able to build in such a short period of time. You know, I was walking the naval yard the other day, and there's this big train gun there. Unbelievable, very old thing. They built it in 3 months. 3 months. I asked someone, how long would that take to build today? And they said the architects alone would take 3 months. That makes no sense to me. So we need to really begin to adopt that and move to that. I really thank you for all your time, your support, the partnership. Go Navy, and thank you very much.